Borthakur IS Academy, an endeavor of excellence.
Borthakur IAS Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome to Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. I hope you all are doing well. Today I'm here with another segment of Current Affairs 365 dated 12th of July 2021. This is your one-stop solution for any news and updates which will help you prepare for your civil services examination, and along with it, it is also going to be beneficial for any other Assam state government services. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram. So today we will be starting this session with a news related to internal security. Recently, the government of Nagaland has appealed to all the Naga political parties and groups along with extremist groups to cooperate in establishing unity, reconciliation and peace in the region. The peace process between both the parties, central government and Naga groups, extremist groups, they have been delaying for more than 23 years now. The Naga Hills, they became a part of British India in the year 1881, and since then there has been this effort to bring all these scattered people together, which resulted in the formation of Naga Club in the year 1980. And this club, it metamorphosed into the Naga National Council in the year 1946. Then Nagaland achieved statehood in December 1963. It was formed out of the hill districts of Assam and the then Northeast Frontier Agency province, which is now known as Arunachal Pradesh. Now let us have a look at the demands of the various groups. The key demand of Naga group has been a greater Nagaland, that is a sovereign statehood. Here the boundaries will be redrawn, and all the Naga inhabited areas will come together under one administrative umbrella. This will include various parts of Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Assam and Myanmar as well. And there has also been a demand for separate constitution, Naga Yezabu and a Naga national flag. Coming to the peace initiatives, in the Shillong Accord of 1975, a peace accord was signed in Shillong in which the NNC leadership, they gave up their arms. And then there has been this framework agreement of 2015. In this agreement, Government of India, they recognize the unique history, rich culture and heritage and position of the Nagas along with their sentiments and aspirations. Also, the state government decided to prepare a register of indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland, but later, due to some pressure from various factions, this decision was put on hold. In 2015, the agreement apparently made the peace process inclusive, but it created suspicion about the central government regarding it exploiting divisions within the Nagas on tribal and geopolitical lines. And this issue of integration of the contiguous Naga inhabited areas of Manipur, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh in view of the demand for territorial unification, it will trigger violent clashes in the different affected states. So another issue or another hurdle here is that in the peace process of Nagaland, existence of more than one organization is there. They are involved, and each of these organizations, they claim to be representative of the Nagas. So these are the main issues because of which the peace process has been delayed for some reason, and it has not come to a definite conclusion so far. So here the center, they must negotiate with all the factions and groups of the insurgents to have a long-lasting peace in our country. Further, the cultural, historical and territorial extent of Naga people, it must be taken into strict consideration. And moreover, any arrangement to be worked out should lead to social and political harmony, economic prosperity and protection of life and property of all the citizens of our country. Then greater autonomy for the Naga inhabited areas in the states can be provided with separate budget allocations for such areas with regard to their culture and development issues. Moreover, the center should also keep this in mind that most of the armed insurgencies across the world, they do not end in either total victory or comprehensive defeat, but they should choose the path of compromise. Now we will have a look at the India Industrial Land Bank, which is a GIS portal. It has been developed by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade in order to have a committed approach towards resource optimization, industrial upgradation and sustainability. This portal serves as a one-stop solution to the free and easy accessibility of all industrial information like availability of raw materials, agriculture, horticulture, then layers of terrain and urban infrastructure, etc. And this page has seen a 30% increase in views since April 2021. The main aim here is to provide information on available land for prospective investors who are looking at setting up of units in our country. And this portal is also going to link the state GIS portals and the state land banks. Coming to Geographic Information System, that is GIS, it is a computer system for capturing, storing, checking and displaying data which are related to positions of the Earth's surface. And by this, GIS can help individuals and organizations better understand the spatial patterns and relationships. It can include data about people such as population, income or education level. Along with that, it can also include information about the sites of factories, farms, schools, then roads, electric power lines, etc. Some areas of application, GIS application includes pollution, air pollution and control, then in disaster management, forest management, then wastewater management, natural resource management, etc. Thirdly, we will look at the acute encephalitis syndrome. The Jal Jeevan Mission has provided tap water supply to more than 97 lakh households in 5 Japanese encephalitis and acute encephalitis syndrome affected states. These states are Assam, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Acute encephalitis syndrome is a severe case of encephalitis which is transmitted by mosquitoes and is characterized by high fever and inflammation of the brain. The World Health Organization coined this term in the year 2006, and the most affected population, most affected people includes children and young adults, and it can lead to considerable morbidity as well as mortality. The main causative agents includes viruses, and along with that some other sources are bacteria, fungi, then chemicals, toxins and some other non-infectious agents. They have also been reported to affect people in the past few decades, and this is a non-vaccine preventable disease. Japanese encephalitis virus is the major cause of acute encephalitis syndrome in our country, ranging from 5 to 35%. However, some other causative agents includes Nipah virus, Zika virus, influenza A virus, etc. The common symptoms are confusion, high fever, disorientation, inability to talk, vomiting, nausea and unconsciousness. The National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program of our country has set up countrywide surveillance for diagnosing people with acute encephalitis syndrome. And currently in India, we can see that as per records, the fatality rate at 6% in acute encephalitis syndrome, but it rises to around 25% among the children. And the worst affected states are Bihar, Assam, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Meghalaya, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Tripura. There are some government initiatives, in order to reduce morbidity and mortality. Our government has developed a multi-pronged strategy with convergence of the concerned ministries. And the ministries includes Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Jal Shakti. They make sure that the states receive safe water supply. Then Women and Children Development for providing high quality nutrition to the vulnerable children. We also have the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment engaged in this. Along with that, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Ministry of Education. The next news is about launching of 5 new portals on Ayush sector. These portals are CTRI, Clinical Trial Registry of India, then RMIS, Research Management Information System, SAHI Sahi, which is a showcase of Ayurveda historical imprints. Then we have Amar, Ayush Manuscripts Advanced Repository, and lastly eMedha, that is Electronic Medical Heritage Accession. Now this Clinical Trial Registry of India is a primary register of the clinical trials under World Health Organization's International Clinical Trials Registry platform. creation of Ayurveda data set in CTRI. It will facilitate the usage of Ayurveda terminologies to record clinical study based on Ayurveda interventions. And clinical study is research which will study new tests and treatments, and they are going to evaluate their effects on human health outcomes. Then research management information system will be a one-stop solution for research and development in Ayurveda based studies. Sahi, that is showcase of Ayurveda historical imprints. It will showcase inscriptions, archaeobotanical informations and other such related texts, okay, which will be of tremendous use in understanding Indian knowledge system with a focus on indigenous healthcare practices. Amar has digitized information on rare and hard to find manuscripts related to Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, etc. eMedha, it is an online public catalog for more than 12,000 Indian medical heritage books through the eGranthalaaya platform. eGranthalaaya is a digital platform which has been developed by NIC for government libraries for automation of in-house activities. Some related initiatives includes the ACCR portal and Ayush Sanjeevani app. Then we have National Ayush Mission. Government of India is implementing the critically sponsored scheme of National Ayush Mission through states and union territories for development and promotion of Ayush system of medicine, and also the Ayush health and wellness centers across various states of our country. And with this, we have come to an end of today's session. I hope this is going to be helpful for you all. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another session of Current Affairs 365 only on Port Harcourt IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. Till then, take care, keep learning. Bye-bye.
Port Harcourt IAS Academy প্রস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS Academy